and the Mike Westbrook Memorial for the Knoxville National. They're lean, they're mean, they're 700 horses, a man and machine. They're full wide, green flag, showtime, the Knoxville Nationals are green.
A little surprise broadcast added here this evening. I was sitting around here. I'm trying to fine-tune my talents a little bit, so we're going to add a little bit of more racing here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network this evening. We're here at Iowa Speedway right now. Limited car count, but that 5-car out front and that 88 he hasn't put in a lap yet, but oh man, you can got to watch out for Dan McLaren. He can sneak up on you, and he's got to be one of the early favorites here. But right now, let's show you who we're riding with here with Terry Landis. Desert Demon, or as I like to call him, Smokey. Drifting there going into turn 3. That Yoo-hoo machine. Man, that thing looks clean going around there. You see him getting sideways there. He's really fighting it. Oh, there he goes. Ooh, Jim Bowie's pulling in the pits here. Maybe doing a little practice stop, or he just going to call it quits here. Preston Cramner rolling out on the track for a little more practice here. Running the Bob Light inspired paint scheme. Bob Light, we're going to miss him. May he rest in peace. Going to be nice Still seeing that 77 out on the track, though. Driven around by Preston, and you know he'll do it justice, that's for sure. Right now, let's see if we can maybe find somebody to come up here and steal for a little bit. I'm going to see if I can pull Terry up here. He's P3. Let's see if... Actually, yeah, Preston's still running. Is Terry on the track? No, Terry's not on the track. Let's see what he's doing right now. Hey, Terry, Shaggy up in the broadcast booth, man. You got a copy?
Hey, go ahead.
Yo, dude, P3 tonight on the speed charts. We looking at a possible podium tonight?
Oh, that'd be nice to do, wouldn't it?
Yeah, what do you think's going to be the game plan here, man? Is this a two-stopper tonight for sure?
Oh, I think so. I just do what the leaders do, you know. I just go with the flow.
Hey, man, sometimes follow the leader ain't a bad deal, especially if that 5 or the 88's in front of you.
Oh,
think
yeah,
you got
just
anything for either one of those guys tonight?
Oh, heck no, but I'll give my best. I'll give the you best.
Well, man, you know, that's all you can do. Put the pressure on him and maybe force him into a mistake, hey, but we're rooting for you tonight, Smokey.
All right, thanks, Shaggy.
I'll move you back down there. Good luck, man.
All right, thanks, brother.
It's Terry Landis. Pulled him up for a little bit. And you heard he maybe doesn't like his chances for a win, but he said it himself. It'd be nice to pull a podium off, and maybe he's got a car that can do that tonight here. He did pull it out while we were talking to him. Right on board with him for a little bit here. Take a lap around Iowa. You hear him rolling off. Gonna roll off that throttle. Maybe didn't roll off early enough. Probably want to jump in a little earlier than that, but not as hard as. Can he keep her straight? No. Kept her off the wall. Couldn't keep it straight, but did keep it off the wall there. But right now, no cars on the track, not missing anything here. Should be getting ready to go racing around 9:15, I think. But I believe maybe we're waiting on an admin. Not too sure here. Sorry about the long pause in voice there, looking at stream health. That's kind of why I'm doing this. Gotta mess around with some settings, I think, when this is done. But until this race kicks off here, you may experience a little commentary silence here as I'm just trying to tweak on things. But don't worry, during the race, we'll be 100% involved and ready to go, especially, well, hell, even for qualifying. Just trying to read what YouTube's telling me about what maybe I have set up wrong. And how to get you guys better looking video quality. Seen a lot of cars get loose on corner exit tonight, and man, if that may be a an ongoing trend here as we proceed through the night, is coming off of turn 2. It's gonna be a real troublemaker tonight, that's for sure. All right, looks like we're rolling into qualifying here, so almost go time here. We'll see who pulls off the track first for us here. It's on the bottom of your screen there. Drivers in the green, that'll be their personal best. If you see a purple time, that'll be race best. That'll mean they beat everyone in that sector. And yellow, that'll mean they were slower than their best sector. So you don't want yellows. You want greens or purples here. Is gonna ride on board, or ride along with Tim Chapman here for lap number 1. Right now, Jeffrey Kemper the fastest in Sector 1, but that got taken away. Tim Chapman actually took over fastest in Sector 1 here, the man we're watching. Let's see here, green in Sector 2, so not the best, but right now P1. Now we're going to roll on. Let's go see Dan McLaren here. Coming to lap number 1. He's going to be a guy you want to keep your eye on. Jeff Kemper on lap number 2, taking the pole back from Tim Chapman. It's Isaac Salas, the new man on the front row. He took over P1. Jeff Kemper to his outside. Keep an eye on this 88 here. It's Colin Johnston's going to take over the pole. He went purple. Preston Cramner actually took purple in Sector 2, moved him to P2. Colin Johnston, your new pole sitter. Never mind, take that back. Isaac Salas, slower in Sector 1 for him, but found time in Sector 2, and enough for the pole. See Dan McLaren here. He improves, but not as high as he probably thought he would have went there. P5. A lot of quick times. Top 6 all in the 23.8s, and Tim Chapman with a 23.94, so man, pretty close. This should be a good race here tonight. Jim Bowie out here. Jim got a little loose on both laps. Going to be a little off the pace, 26.8. Dylan Kinsey yet to put in a time. Not sure if he is going to put in a time. Right now, if you're watching what I'm watching, we're hanging out high above Iowa Speedway here. And, thank God 420 rules don't apply in the air, as we are having a good time up here. Just waiting on possibly Dylan Kinsey to put in a lap, or rolling over to the feature here. We'll go ahead and just read you off your starting grid now, as it doesn't look like Dylan's going to pull out. Starting on the pole, Isaac Salas is going to be in the 5 car. Into his outside, Cullen Johnson in the 13. Inside of row number 2, Preston Cramner in the 77. Into his outside, Jeff Kemper in the 181. Dan McLaren in the 88 is going to start on the inside of row number 3. And his outside, the Desert Demon, Old Smoky Terry Landis. Inside of row number 4 is going to be the 37 of Tim Chapman. Into his outside, the 058 of Jim Bowie. And like I say, Dylan Kinsey, he's signed up at least. Not sure if he is going to take qualifying or not, but he's in the room. So if he decides to take the grid here, he'll roll off P9. We've talked to Terry. He thinks, he's going to follow the leaders. The little snooping with Isaac and Dan earlier, they think this is a 2-stopper for sure. Can't really remember how many tire sets they get. I forget. I think it may be 1 plus 3 extra, or maybe it's 2 extra. So the 2-stopper would make sense. You don't really want to take any tires home, but at the same time, you want to make sure if a caution comes out late that you've got a chance to possibly throw on tires and give yourself a late run here. I actually didn't even see I had my SDK rolled up too long. Roger Craig is in here too, P10. So if he decides to make the grid, we'll have a 10-car field here if Kinsey and Craig both grid up. Right now we've got 8 to the grid, so it looks like no Kinsey or Craig here. They're coming down the backstretch for the final time here until they go green flag, as the pace car should be pulling off here coming out of turn 4. And we're going to have a race on our hands here. Is my dark horse, the 88, he's got a long way to go, which should make it interesting here starting P5. So keep your eye on that 88. But, man, Isaac Salas in that 5, you don't want to let that horse run. Somebody's got to get in front of him. Or actually, we are going to do 2 around here. So I jumped the gun. I'll do one more pace lap here. Here we go now. Don't make a liar out of me here, but this should be the final time going down the backstretch here. You got 8 cars ready to take the green flag here at Iowa Speedway, and this should be a good one. You got the basically the top 7 cars within a tenth of each other in qualifying. So it's going to be who can master that long run and who can save those right side tires. We are getting ready. The green is in the air, and they are off here at Iowa Speedway. Isaac Salas with a good run into turn 1, looking to capitalize and maybe take over P2. Jeff Kemper's looking on the bottom, trying to get under Cullen Johnson. Can he make a move here while Cullen still has cold tires? But at the same time, he's got cold tires. You don't want to bind yourself up on the bottom and get loose here, as maybe he just doesn't have the run that he thought he could get. He's going to fall in line. And McLaren trying to make up a little bit of time, was able to get one guy on the restart. Preston Cramner lost 2 spots back to 5th here. Using just, hey, I need to save the tires, make sure I make it to the end right now. You're not going to win the race, but you can sure as heck lose it. Terry Landis, Preston's teammate, just stalking the 07, trying to maybe wait for a mistake here, but man, the battle's starting to heat up front. Top 3 here. Dan McLaren's looking top 4, actually. He's running that wall, and you know, that may be a little hard on the tire, you'd think. You'd say, Zach, why is he driving in that hard? Well, he doesn't have all that wheel cranked into it in the middle of the corner. He can drive in a little bit harder, but these guys running middle bottom, they're really cranking that wheel. That's making that right front tire slide. Dan, on the other hand, trying to keep that wheel straight as he can up top. Just save that tire. Let's go on board with Dan. Soupy, you see those big runs he gets coming out of the corner, and now right when we go on board, he's going to go back down to the bottom, see what he's got down there, see how the car feels. Tim Chapman starting to slowly cut into that gap. Terry Landis and Preston Cramner had over him is, he knows it's a fine line. Yeah, I got to save tires, but I can't let those guys walk too far out in front. This thing looks like we could be going green flag here for quite some time. So now you're starting to see it heat up front. Jeff Kemper's going to look up top, try to go around the outside of Cullen Johnson after he tried to make a move to the lead. It just seems, it's really hard to complete the pass on the bottom as Cullen Johnson's going to float it up in front of Jeff Kemper. And, I'll tell you what, Kemper is not going to be too happy about that. Going to lose a spot to Dan McLaren possibly, unless he can pinch him down. But he probably knows that 88's quick. I don't need to force the issue right now. Just follow him by. But I'll tell you what, Jeff's going to keep that one in the memory banks. Little too early for a slide job, I think. Back out front, Cullen, he threw that slider because he said, hey, Jeff, I was trying to pass for the lead, man. I think I'm quick, and you just took advantage of me having one little hiccup getting pinched down on the bottom. Cullen thinks he's fast, and he is showing us why, trying to run down that 5 and just get by him and set the pace. The 88 car, you see, lagging a little bit. It's not too big of a deal now, but if he goes to make a pass and that car on the outside of you starts to disappear, that's not something you want to experience if you're Cullen Johnston. Right now, Cullen Johnston, he trying to look every which way, trying to get a run on the bottom, the top, but Isaac is just doing a good job of putting that car right in the middle groove, right where you want to be. Left side tires on that white line. There, Isaac has a little bit of a hiccup, gets in the outside wall a little bit. Cullen maybe checks up a little bit to not run him over, and that puts Dan McLaren right on the rear bumper of this 13 here. He's going to get a big run coming out of 4. Going to look to the low side, try to pull some side draft, and he's going to make a move going into turn 1. Dan McLaren in that 88, trying to stick it in on the bottom. He's going to float it up in front of the 13, and the 13 realizes, hey, maybe that 88, he's just got a little bit more pace than me right now, and I'm going to take it easy and ride. Isaac Salas, you saw it there, back into the wall ever so slightly, but that will slow him down. Dan McLaren maybe overdrove it up the hill a little bit. You saw the wheel hop. Lost a little bit of time to Isaac Salas. And that's going to make that right front tire real angry, Dan. Settle down. Jeff Kemper looking for Cullen Johnson, trying to take third place back. He lost P3 to Dan McLaren a couple laps ago after the 13. Maybe threw a little bit of a slide job on him to defend. Let's see if the 181 is forgiving or if he maybe goes in there and feeds him one back, but they're running side by side right now. Dan McLaren, though, stalking your leader, Isaac Salas, reeling him in about a half a tenth every lap, just slowly but surely reeling in that 5 car. Let's watch him stalk him. Maybe doesn't get as good of a run coming out of 4 as the 5 car, but makes up so much time in the center of the corner with running the bottom middle there. You see, just really pulls him in, and 5 car gaps him a little bit coming off, but it's just not really the same distance, you know, that Dan's eating up here on corner entries, and slowly reeling him in. Go back here to 6th place, Terry Landis. Kind of settled down back here. He's got Tim Chapman behind him, but Preston Cramner, we saw them running side by side earlier, or Terry trying to get up to the back of Preston, I should say. He's kind of lost touch with him as Preston Cramner slowly reeling in that 13 here of Cullen Johnston. You got to wonder if Cullen maybe overdrove that car a little bit in the beginning when he was trying to push the car on the bottom to get by Isaac. Preston Cramner not able to get the pass done for 4th, but he's going to look back here again going into turn 3. Preston Cramner in that 77 machine just struggling trying to get by Cullen Johnson. You see how hard it is to complete this pass on the bottom. The guy cuts off your momentum on the high side. There's just not really much you can do here. You're a bay kind of with that guy in front of you. He's right on board with Preston. Preston, good enough run coming out of 4 to get side by side, but here is where you really lose momentum. But can he get up in front of that 13? Oh, he's going to force his way up in front of that 13, and Preston finally able to get the pass done for 4th place. Back out front, though. Last time by, Isaac Salas 0.2 faster than P2 Dan McLaren, so maybe saved a little bit as he's starting to show. I've got some speed out here, Zach. You shouldn't have slept on me, Shaggy. And look at that. That's Gambler Motorsports teammate Jeff Kemper not running too bad himself. Last time by was the quickest car on track with a 24.88. Him and Preston Cramner identical laps last time by. Let's see, this time by fastest car on track was old soupy Dan McLaren with a 24.80. Preston Cramner second car with a 24.83. So that's 77. He shows, and I saved my tires at the beginning. I'm ready to go on this long run, guys. I don't know about you, but I sure as heck am. Look at this, that commentator's curse. As soon as I said Isaac turned it on, maybe made a little mistake, and here is that 88, and he's looking to make easy work of this 5. Now, they are teammates, but Isaac Salas knows in his heart, man, if I let that 88 go, it could be curtains. So I've got to put up a fight here. I can't just let him go. And Isaac, he knows how important it is to win a race, to get in this chase. And I believe Dan McLaren, he's already got 4, so he's pretty much locked into this points championship here going into the playoffs. And they're going to run each other pretty hard, but Isaac's starting to blink a little bit. That's not what you want to see if you're the 88. Let's take a look at this battle for 3rd. Preston Cramner slowly reeling in Jeffrey Kemper here. He's cut that gap to around 0.2 of a second, but we saw it's one thing to catch a guy, it's another thing to pass him. The 77 going to look low. Jeff Kemper going to get a big run off of 4 here. Doesn't really look to be putting up too much of a fight here, as he kind of knows, you know, I'm just going to waste time running you hard, burn up my stuff. Maybe just let you go by, see where you're beating me, and try to learn. Back up front, we're seeing Dan skip out a little bit here, but he realized I got to go up top. Yeah, I'm not going to get it done on the bottom here. And he's probably going to try to carry big momentum into a corner and try to float up on the high side of his teammate and try to pinch him down on corner exit, because, you know, you kind of expect your teammate, hey, if I'm on the high side, you're not going to run me in the fence, and that may be the way he has to get it done, but maybe going to bait him into thinking, hey, man, I'm going to look low here, try to get him to come down off the wall a little bit. Last time by, Preston Cram, they're almost identical time as your leader, so he can get himself a caution. He maybe has a good car for the long run if he can find some speed on the opening run, and we saw if lap 1 he lost 2 spots, so had it not been for that, no telling where that 77 machine, he might be up here battling for the lead. Here's where, you know, starting to get to, if you think this is a 2-stop race here. Lap 33, that cuts the race in thirds here, and you want to equally split those tires, so you got to be thinking before too long we could be seeing people hit pit road. Tim Chapman able to get by Cullen Johnston there for 6th place. Cullen Johnston just really struggling on this set of tires. Maybe get a new set here and be a little more conservative these opening laps. But, man, the car, it's just not handling for Cullen Johnston right now. Jim Bowie having a smooth and steady race back here in 8th place. You know, not really battling anybody, but we saw his pace in qualifying very much improved here. Jim's running smooth, quality laps here and hasn't lost touch with the field, and if you're that 058 machine, that's what you want to see week in and week out. You just want to improve, and, you know, I'm seeing that out of that 058 tonight. Back up front, though, Isaac Salas in the 5 car. Coming up on lap 32 here. He is really starting to extend that lead. Last time by, ran a 24.89. And McLaren, 25.32. Preston Cramner, 25.08. Jeff Kemper, 25.36, and Terry Landis with a 25.32. Actually, Tim Chapman right now, your 3rd fastest car on the track with a 25.29. Let's see, maybe, you know, he can think about getting up here and running down Terry Landis. But Cullen Johnston, he's going to come down pit road, make that stop right as I said on lap 33 here. He knows he needs some tires. Keep an eye on the bottom of your screen there. That's going to be the total pit stop time. So getting on and off pit road, that's going to be a big deal here. You don't want to be slow getting onto the pits. You're already going to go a lap down making a green flag pit stop. Got to make sure you get everything you can. Let's see. No more takers on pit road here. It doesn't look like. Jeff Kemper not going to go. Terry Landis not going to go. Jim Chapman not going to go. And that's got to. Jim Bowie's going to duck in. I think Jim Bowie hit that right on the head. You know, he wanted to run the full 33, pit on lap 34. That's when I would have came in. As far as I'm concerned, I think these guys are overextending a little bit here. Smaller field, doesn't look like we're going to have a caution. You don't want to catch yourself out too far. You see Cullen Johnson on the those new tires able to, it's going to drive right around your leader in that 5 machine. So that's the difference right now. You getting any takers here? No takers, no takers, no takers. No, man, wow. Tim Chapman going to come in. Isaac Salas, cool as a cucumber out front, not even considering coming in and pitting. He likes how he saved his tires. Just running 25.1, so Preston Cramner 25.09, quickest car on track right now, but he's about 4.5 seconds behind. Right now, Isaac Salas still not considering pitting. Dan McLaren not pitting. Preston not pitting. Kemper not pitting. Gary Landis not pitting. Guys, what are we doing here? Let's see, that 5 car's running the bottom in 3 and 4. Nope, still not going to duck in here. Soupy's not going to duck in. Preston's still rolling out. Jeff Kemper is still rolling. Man, Terry Landis, all right. Let's see, Cullen Johnston came out. How far did he come out in front of Tim Chapman with those tires? Pretty good. Tim's got a long way to go to run down that 13 of Cullen Johnston here. Now on lap 41, this guy's gotta be thinking about hitting pit road here. Because here he comes. Here comes the leader, Isaac Salas. Dan McLaren's gonna go another lap. See, Preston Cramner's gonna go another lap. Jeff Kemper's gonna go another lap. Terry Landis is gonna go around another time. If Soupy decides to bring it down pit road here. Gonna keep rolling. See what Isaac Salas is doing. He's just getting the tires on it. Gonna go a lap down there to his teammate. Just now getting left sides on. You see how long the pit stop takes. Preston Cramner, though, slowly eating into that gap from Dan McLaren. Preston gonna pit? No, he's gonna keep on rolling. Gotta wonder too if maybe some of these guys were clutching. Maybe if they thought they could almost make it to 50. If one of these guys make it to lap 50, that is gonna be huge. That would be a one-stopper. Preston Cramner says, I can't go anymore, man. I need tires. Bring me in. Skip. Jeff Kemper's going to keep on plugging away. Now here's Dan McLaren. You want somebody to spin off pit road so bad. You got everybody but P2 a lap down. That would make Dan's year here. As Jeff Kemper, he hits pit road. Dan McLaren not able to make it to lap 50, going to come down pit road, but you know, this gives these guys I'd say a splash and go, but if you're going to get 4 tires for those last couple laps, it's not really much of a splash and go here. You maybe think about splitting this last run here in half. Did 25 apiece here, what, 27 apiece, 26. Who knows what's going to happen here, but let's keep an eye on Isaac Salas. He will inherit. Right now, he's going to get back on the lead lap here, I believe. He's actually going to be passing. That's for position. So Dan, you'd lose a lot of time hanging out there on those old tires. He was about 5.5 seconds behind. Right now, as he comes up to speed, he's going to be closer to almost 7.5 seconds, 8 seconds here. As Preston Cramner thought about making a dive there, but Dan McLaren said, man, I don't have time for that. Time to go. Right now, this is your closest battle on track, though. Preston Cramner trying to keep up with the fresh tires of that 88 machine. You saw Cullen Johnson, he was there, but now you see him, now you don't. He's on old tires. He hit early. You're starting to see the fall off there. He pit on lap 32, the guys in front of him. Preston lap 44, Dan McLaren 46, and Isaac, your leader, lap 41. So Dan McLaren, if he's got anything, it's time to go. He can't be too aggressive on these cold tires, but while he has a chance, he's got to make up some time on that 5 car. Dan McLaren, you're watching it. You're watching that time slowly click down, almost to 7 flat. He is going to eat into it a little bit. Got to make sure he's not going too aggressive. As there he gets 2 tenths in turn 1 and 2 alone. Heating up a little back here. Terry Landis running down Tim Chapman in the 37. Jeff Kemper was able to get by Tim Chapman a couple laps ago. We missed that. Tim's another one who came in and benefited new tires on lap 36, but now you're starting to see the other guys with a little more speed. Terry Landis trying to do this as easy as he can, or as quick as he can with these new tires. Tim, he's got to make him work for it. You can't just let those guys drive by on those new tires. You got to make them burn them off a little bit. You see, maybe pushing the car a little too hard, gets in the outside wall, and Terry Landis is able to go right on by. And McLaren, you see that lead cut down to 5.8 seconds, but Isaac a little better exit coming out of fourth. Soupy's losing a little bit of time. You saw he made up a second there in about a lap and a half, but he's doing it on corner entry. Car might suffer a little bit on these long runs. You see going down the straightaway that not really increasing his gap. He's using all that grip he has on those new tires and driving in hard, and that's gonna, make it struggle on a long run. But Soupy extended as long as he could so he could push these final sets of, final set of 2 he's got 2 sets of 4 tires left, including the one he's got on. So if you went almost halfway on that first set, you want to run these last 2 25, 26 laps a stint and run them really hard. And it's got to be the strategy he's going with. Got the gap down to almost 5 seconds here. And Isaac Salas starting to get into some lap traffic here, coming up with the 058 of Jim Bowie. See here, Jim's going to make that really easy on Isaac. Let him have the top side where he was running and just let him go right on by. And now Jim's going to go try to get a free driving lesson here. See if he can follow the tire tracks of that 5 car and see if he can learn a little something. But Jim Bowie, he also, remember, he did pit on lap 34. So those tires are definitely not as happy as Isaac's. Not singing the same tune, that's for sure. Dan McLaren got that gap down to 4.5 seconds now. See here, let's go in the car with Dan. You can see Jim Bowie, and you can see Isaac. He's up there going into turn 1, but he's got his eyes on the prize. He's slowly running him down, but you're seeing that gap starting to equal out a little bit. Dan's only about 1.5 to 2 faster each lap, and pushing those tires that hard early on, you know, you can pay for it on the long run. But he's just hoping that maybe Isaac did the same thing when he came out of the pits. We're over halfway through this race, though, lap 60. No cautions in this thing, so hasn't been very eventful. Saw one pass for the lead there. Isaac actually held off Cullen, so he stayed out front this whole time. Did see Dan get to steal a couple laps led whenever Isaac pit first, but Isaac right now, class of the field, is maybe starting 5th place for this 88, just a little too much to overcome. Had to pass guys in the beginning, maybe rough up those tires a little bit, and now been playing catch up here. He's hoping the 058 here of Jim Bowie doesn't put up too much of a fight, maybe gives him the easy pass like he gave Isaac Salas, but I know he is going to pull down. Going to give the 88 a little toe going down, so may actually benefit him a little bit here as he's going to cut that gap down to under 4 seconds. See, Isaac Salas was able to get by Tim Chapman, looks like went a lap down here. He's able to make that pass. McLaren hoping that Tim lets him make that pass easy, but Dan in the wall a little bit. He's going to lose a lot of that time he gained back. Going to be almost a 4.3 seconds here going into turn 1. You're seeing just maybe push that car a little too hard, trying to run down his teammate and gap up to 4.4 now. Tires are just saying, Dan, why'd you do that to us? Dan didn't really have a choice. You got to run hard while you have the speed. You got to go try to catch the guy. And he wanted to get win number 5. He doesn't want to just hand this one over to his teammate here. But look at this battle. Battle's on between Terry Landis and Cullen Johnston for P5 here. Cullen's on the outside, going to get in the wall coming out of turn 4. That's going to make it easy on Terry. He's going to go right on by. But look, not too far back. You see, here comes your leader. He's looking to put 6th and 5th a lap down here, and not too far up the road is Jeff Kemper in front of them. So it's time to go, boys. If you got anything, these front 2, they're setting a heck of a pace here. Cullen Johnston going to let the leader go right on by, no problem. McLaren coming up on the 37. He's hoping he doesn't tighten up and can just go right on by this 37. He's starting to really stall out, seeing that gap stay at 4.3 seconds. .32 to go this time by, so you're seeing some guys, they dove off on pit road, Cullen Johnston and Tim Chapman. They can make it the rest of the way, but their tires may not be too happy with them here at the end, as these guys did an excellent job, the 5 and the 88, of nursing those tires on that first long run and really able to pounce on this run and go. As man, Isaac, he's got a lot of speed out front in that 5. Dan McLaren hitting pit road. This is a big deal for Soupy. This is how he kind of has to play this. Ran a little bit too hard early on. Tires were starting to fall off. He's got to go here. He's going to have 30 to go when he pulls out of the pits. And going to have to take it a little easier those first couple laps than he did that last run. And if you're Isaac, he's going to stay out here. I don't know how long you stay out. You don't want to let your teammate get the undercut on you. did we maybe just hear a car blow up? Tim Chapman with an accident. Not sure what happened here. Let's see if we can... No caution came out. Let's see here, middle of 1 and 2. Just gets a little sideways on those new tires trying to come up on Kemper, and ooh, pounds the inside wall, and no caution. This thing does not want to jump back live, so you're going to get a little behind the scenes here. Now we're back live. Sorry about that. Saw the replay screen kept jumping on. It wanted to go live, but man, it just didn't. Just couldn't hold up. But Isaac Salas finally going to hit pit road here. Let's see where Dan McLaren is. Dan McLaren right now is a lap down, so as he goes by Isaac this time, he'll just be unlapping himself. See, Isaac still yet to get to his pit box. Let's keep an eye on this. We're going to hop back and forth between him and the 88. We see the 77 of Preston Cramner. He did inherit the lead right now, but he's going to hit pit road. So let's keep an eye. Dan McLaren coming out of turn 4. At the start-finish line, where's Isaac? Still sitting still. Dan McLaren, there he is, rolling by. We're going to have a new leader. And now Isaac, he's in the spot where he's got to control the reins of that horse. He can't go real hard right away. He's only got 5 laps fresher tire than Dan here, you know. Maybe even just 4. That's not going to be extraordinary. It will help, for sure, no doubt. Every lap helps. But if he drives too hard like Dan did, trying to eat up that gap these first couple laps, man, he is going to be angry with himself. And you know, he'll have thrown one out the window here, as he had a 4-some second lead before Dan pit. And I said it. As soon as you saw your teammate behind you pit, you almost have to pit that next lap to cover it off, because you're going to have to work hard to pass him here. Let's see, you see the gap, pretty significant. About 2.5 seconds. It was 2.5 seconds when he come out. He's got it down to about 2, so in about half a second in 2 laps, and that's what we were watching with Dan earlier. Dan was really making up time. Don't want to make up time driving into the corner. You want to make up time on corner exit. You want to pick up the throttle a little bit earlier. You don't necessarily want to drive in hard on the bottom and make that right side scream. Barry Landis here. He is your leader, though. He's hoping for maybe a caution here. He could, you know, pit under caution. Come out at the tail end of the lead lap, which is only 4 cars, and he'd have fresh tires. So Barry Landis really, really hoping for a caution here. Let's see. This is gonna be the battle here. Is the 5 is slowly reeling in that 88. Last time by 0.2 faster. No, excuse me. Looking at the wrong guys. 4 tenths faster last time by. Let's see what it is this time. Dan McLaren with a 24.37 and Isaac Salas with a 24.15. So not as big of a pool there, only 1.5 tenths. Isaac Salas trying to come get him. He says, here, kitty, 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 kitty. 20 to go. He's got 20 laps to do it. Plenty of time, but he's got to be patient. Barry Landis, he's just hoping for a caution. Really wants a caution right now, but Jeff Kemper, he just unlapped himself, so he's got himself in position for if a caution comes out. Does he have something for maybe the bottom step of the podium? This is where the action is. We probably aren't going to leave it here as Isaac Salas has run down that 88 as the gap down to 2.5 tenths here. One thing to catch a guy, another thing to pass him. Dan's got to take that top away and make him earn it on the bottom. Dan McLaren in full defense mode, gonna make that bumper as wide as he can. The 5 gonna try to fill up that rear view mirror of that 88 all over the front stretch wall, trying to find all sorts of real estate. At the 88, he's gonna leave him a lane up high. Is he gonna float up and shut the door? Yes, he is. Can't leave him that lane, Dano. And threw it in there low going into turn 3. He's going to Isaac maybe bluffed him into thinking he's going to go to the bottom, and that's going to be the move of the race. Isaac bluffed the 88 into holding the bottom. Oh, no! Dan with the big boy slider. Time to put the pants on. He threw it on him, and he parked it on him. Is he going to have room to do it again? He needs to. The 5's going to carry a big run. Dan's going to think about blocking it. The 5. Oh, big run. He had enough to clear him, and man, that's going to do it. That is going to do it as the 5 has the fresher tires, and let's be real here. The 88, he tried, but Isaac just able to drive right on by with the fresher tires, making it look easy out there. Not sure what's going on with Dan. Dan really falling off the pace here now. You're seeing it. You're watching that ticker drop. Or maybe that's just the speed of Isaac Salas, because Preston Cramner not really reeling him in. I guess he is. Yeah, Preston is reeling him in here, but man, Soupy, that thing... That don't look like the same car here. Maybe he's just going into relax mode, actually. That's probably what it is, just in case there's a caution here. That 5 car able to make it look easy. 12 to go here. He just needs to be smooth, no mistakes, and he's going to be looking at his first win in the Xfinity Series this year. Is only run 2, maybe 3 races, and hasn't been treated all that well in this series, and going to be good to get a win for him here tonight. He's going to go back to back. I don't know where he finished in the small blocks, but won the big blocks, so good for him here. Dan McLaren must be just blinking a little bit. You saw him drop down the boards there. I was making sure he didn't pull in the pit or have some trouble. Ten to go this time by here. Whole thing, green flag. We had one spin there. Tim Chapman got a little loose coming off of turn 2 and hit the inside wall, but no caution. We carried on, and you're watching Dan McLaren right now, but this man, Isaac Salas, dominating fashion. Outside of Jim Bowie, and Jim Bowie's going to let the 5 by, no problem here. Isaac Salas just continues the march here. Is coming out of turn 4. We're going to have 7 to go this time by. Yeah, you see Dan, he's just taking it easy. Other cars by that he's not racing, no reason to run them hard. And just in case you get that caution. Jeff Kemper, little quiet race for him, a quiet 4th place race here. He's quicker than Preston Cramner, but man, I just don't. He's going to run out of time here. Not going to be able to run him down. Coming across the stripe. This time 4 to go for that 5 car of Isaac Salas. He was the man to beat tonight. He good on the long run, good on the short run. Your pole sitter. It just, there was a little bit here early on in this race that man Isaac's coming up on right now. That 13 was battling him for the lead, and Isaac just kicked on the afterburners and found a new gears. He was very quick tonight. Colin Johnston gonna get out of the way here, possibly going down the front stretch. A lift going into turn 1, and that's the way to do that. Just the leader have his line, and you don't lose a lot of time. That's exactly how you do that. Keep on rolling. No, the 5 car. Oh, good. He's back. We've seen him skipping in and out tonight, man, but that was a pretty long one. We didn't want it to happen here as he was about to get the white flag. As this time by is going to be the final time around Iowa Speedway. As no other flag's going to fly except the checkered here. So if the 5 hangs on to it, it's all his. Coming through 3 and 4. Looking good for Isaac Salas. He was quick tonight. And here we go. Checkered flag in the air. Isaac Salas is going to be the Xfinity winner here at Iowa Speedway. Let's check in on the race for P2 here. Dan McLaren, here he comes. Here he comes. He's going to cross the finish line in second. And Preston Cramner going to bring that 77 home P3. Jeff Kemper P4. Terry Landis rounding out the top 5. Jim Bowie 6th. Cullen Johnson 7th. Tim Chapman 8th. Roger Craig 9th. And Dylan Kinsey P10 is... There you go. There you see the man, Isaac Salas, coming around to park for that winner photo, and well deserved tonight for that 5 car. Very quick, and he set the pace out there, that's for sure. See if we can get a word with Preston Cramner here, though. Hey, Preston, should I get up in the booth, man? You got a copy?
I do.
Well, hey, man, dude, hell of a job tonight. Can't complain about 100 laps green flag and, not necessarily the pace of that 5 or that 88, but, man, you had a good pace for that podium tonight.
Yeah, it was a fun race. I love stuff like that. I was maybe watching this probably super boring, but there's a lot of strategy involved watching other guys when they're going to pit, trying to make sure you undercut or overcut a little bit and gain a little momentum. And I played my hand right on the first set of stops and cost me a little bit on the second set, but overall went really well, and I'm happy to stay consistent for the most part. A couple mistakes at the end, but it's a good race.
Yeah, what do you think was the biggest thing tonight? Maybe not going too hard those first couple laps on the brand new tires to make sure you didn't slide. What was the big deal with those right sides tonight?
That was 100% what I was focused on, was making sure I didn't slide into the corners. Even as we got into a tire run, the more I could avoid that, I'd lose a little speed, but over the course of the entire run, I seemed to earn it back. So it worked out pretty well.
Yeah, man, I'd say it worked out pretty well. Putting that 77 back on the podium, and damn, that thing looks good, man. Hell of a job painting that thing up, and definitely happy to see that thing on the podium. But congratulations, Preston. You got anybody you want to thank?
Yeah, I got to thank all my guys at Aspire, Jeremy, Jacob, and we're still missing Bob. But like you said, it's good to put the 77 back on the podium. Hope to have a few more here this season. But those guys always kind of keep my spirits up and give me tips when I'm not sure what to do, particularly with the pits. Terry's always around too. He helped out a bunch tonight. So got to thank my Kreitz Racing teammates. Galen's Gourmet Popcorn. Use code CART to get 15% off. We'll call it there. There's always too many people to thank. A lot of people that help us, but got to thank you too for putting broadcast on.
Yeah, of course, man. It's always fun, and man, who doesn't love a green flag race? It may be boring to watch for maybe the average viewer, but like you said, somebody who races, man, I appreciate that pitch strategy, and a lot goes into a driver's thoughts when you got to run 100 laps green flag, man. That's a tiring deal, and you did a good job tonight.
Don't get me wrong. I could have used a damn break about 50 laps in there, but that's all right.
Yeah, man, I feel you there. I bet you're going to be feeling that, but hey, man, go crack a cold one and have a good evening.
You too, Zach.
That's Preston Cramner, your P3 finisher. Let's bring up Dan McLaren here, P2. Dan, man, it seemed like you had some speed there in the beginning, but do you think maybe you just went a little long on that first set of tires? Hey, Dan, you got a copy? I see that you're talking, but I don't hear you. So maybe you've got your...
Oh,
there we go. There we go. Yep.
there we go. Yeah, just I don't know. Could figure it out, man. Ran the up by the wall, ran the bottom, ran the middle, and yeah, just I don't know. Although it was a good race though, flag to flag, 1-2 for Venom. So happy for Isaac and happy for myself. I'll finish second to that guy any day, man. But yeah, I don't know. Didn't have anything for him.
Yeah, he did, man. He came up there quick. He had a good car tonight. I mean, he qualified on the pole, showed speed. There, that first run you got to him, and I thought you were going to make quick work of him, but you tried to get it done on the inside, and he just did such a good job on the outside. Were you a little, well, not to call you out, but were you a little just kind of in the moment when you gave him that high side there in 3 and 4? That then he got the run on you going into 1 and 2.
Yeah, it's you get such a good run coming out of 2 and 4. Like if you don't hit it 100% on the bottom, and then break their momentum coming out, it just won't stick. But yeah, I got up behind him. Thought I had a good enough run where I could have cleared him through 1 and 2, but just didn't make it stick. But no, he he was fast in the trucks yesterday. He's Tuesday, sorry, fast in the Xfinity car today. So he's been practicing quite a bit at this track. He kept posting in the Discord of his success, so to speak. And no, good on him.
Oh, yeah, I heard all about his 5 for 5 in officials this week, and now you guys probably won't hear the end of this. But, hey, Dan, you said it yourself, man. Can't complain about a Venom 1-2, and all in all, a good points night for you here in the short term, and, you already got those 4 wins, so this win might get your buddy in the chase here.
Heck yeah, man. I mean, that's a great start for week 1. It's probably the best starts of the week yet of any of the seasons I ran. But this team is just firing on all cylinders on dirt, asphalt. So, but yeah, all the guys at Venom, just want to thank them for bringing me on and racing with them. I learned from them, they learned from me, and you guys for these broadcasts, and Roger and everybody behind the scenes for the league.
Yeah, man. I love interviewing you. You're always a class, and watching you and Isaac go at it, man, that's fun. Not to sound dumb, but you guys definitely aren't two of the the best 2-1 iRacing, man, but you guys are up there. You guys know what you're doing on the asphalt, and it's fun to watch. So good run tonight, Dan.
Thanks, Zach. Appreciate it.
That's Dan McLaren, your P2 finisher, and we're going to bring up your winner here tonight. Ah, geez, Isaac. You stunk that one up, man. You had a lot of speed tonight.
I know. It's don't get used to it probably, but it's good to actually do good in Xfinity car for once. I'll tell you that.
Yeah, talk to it like obviously. Well, Dan brought it up, and you talked to me a little bit about it. You had a lot of success here this week, and even I tried to dissect it a little bit. So when you pit before Dan was obviously running you down on the new tires there, the second run. But Dan was kind of doing it differently than you. He was making up time on you in corner entry, whereas when you got those new tires on the end, you were sacrificing corner entry, and man, dude, it just seemed like you were almost hammer down middle off.
I was, to be honest with you. That's kind of how I learned. As I went through the week, basically, I got a lot of good practice. Battling with people, battling, myself, and some of the tire life issues that I still struggle with, just dirt background stuff like that. But I found that if I ran the high side and I did like the entire opposite of what I do for dirt, that it'll actually work for me on asphalt. So it was easy for me to hit my marks up there. There is bumps in 1 and 2. I kept giving up time every once in a while to him doing that. I'd hit those bumps and get the car all upset. But if I actually hit where I wanted to be, it was very easy to go hammer down on that second half of that corner.
Yeah, man. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not easy for anyone else, Isaac. I can tell you that. I've turned some laps here this week, and man, dude, the way you ran that long run, that was really impressive. I definitely learned a thing or two from watching you, and I'm sure if anybody else goes back and watches this, they will too. That was a great class in driving there, and man, next year at Iowa, I think everybody's in trouble.
Dude, I hope so. That's the goal, man. But yeah, like I have to thank you and Dan quite a bit. Like when I first got into asphalt driving and stuff like that, like because you and I would talk about it, and then when Dan came on to Venom, he taught me quite a bit of how to learn kind of just roll in the middle, stuff like that, and all these actual terms that made sense to me. And so it's been nice to actually get to put those to use and make it so I actually know what I'm feeling like.
Well, man, hell of a job tonight, able to get that first victory of the season, and I doubt that's going to be the only one. So you plug yourself in one more, and we might be racing in the playoffs together, buddy.
Hey, that's the goal, brother. I can't wait to see you there if you do. Come on now.
Well, man, hell of a job tonight, dude. You quick all race. You kind of had your teammate in the 88 speechless, but who do you want to thank tonight?
Yeah, I mean, we can start with Venom Racing, man. Like I said, we've been, man, I don't know. We've been doing a couple other leagues than C2C, and the boys have been firing off feels like on all cylinders in those two, and it's good to see the overall team just getting pretty consistent. And like Trevor today, I battled Trevor for the big block win. I know he did good in the small block, so it's good to see everyone kind of getting some speed. So big shout out to all those boys. Dean Superstar Car Series, he still supports me even though this is asphalt, which I think is hilarious. But Magnum Race Designs, Got Your Six Racing Network, RSN Trackside, Coast to Coast. For the league, Mission 22. I think it's because of this Mission 22 shirt, man. Ever since I got the Mission 22 shirt, been winning some bunch. Right? I know.
Right, Joe,
yeah,
come
other than
on.
that, thanks to yeah, exactly, right? Just being like Joe. Yeah, other than that, man, thanks to my Gramps with Top Notch Trucking. Thanks to you for the broadcast, brother. It's always fun to get to talk to you and watch it back and see how much you've grown and how much better you've gotten at broadcasting when you and I first started. And then yeah, on that, thanks to my friends, my family, and my girlfriend.
Well, hey, man, I appreciate the words of encouragement. And, dude, you did a hell of a job tonight. So, nights like this, I am glad I'm up here and wasn't out there finishing third or fourth. So,
Yeah,
I'll take being
I'm
up
glad
here.
I'm not. I'm glad I wasn't looking at your rear bumper,
Yeah,
your
that
rear
would-
bumper at any point tonight. I
That
would have
wasn't
been.
going to be happening.
Oh yeah, okay, but cool.
Well, hey, good job, kid.
Well, I appreciate you, man. So thank you.
Yep, I'm sure you gonna run Monday night.
That's the goal.
All right.
That
Well,
is the goal. I'm trying to be there.
feel free, maybe come sit with me a little bit. Marty's on vacation a little bit on Monday night, so I'm
Oh
gonna be by
man,
myself.
could be you and I. It's old times here.
That's what I'm saying. Tell the boys,
Well-
spread the word. I could use help.
That sounds good, man. I'll try to. I'll go in at 6 for you. That way I can get off and come home in time.
All right, man. Well, you behave yourself and good job tonight.
Awesome. Thanks, brother. You too.
All righty. Well, that's gonna do it here on the coast or at Iowa Speedway. That was a good race tonight. All in all, there's gonna be a big gap in between those races, but I wasn't here for the small block. But man, Isaac able to bring home the last two and kind of dominating fashion, able to creep up on his teammate Trevor Giroux in the big block and throw a big time slider in 3 and 4 to get that done. And here, basically crossover his teammate coming out of 4, so had to beat teammates in both races. And when you're racing teammates, you got to do it clean, and that's how he did it tonight. So hell of a job here for the 5, and that's going to do it here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. I'm Zach Chapman, part of Shaggy TV, and you heard Isaac and I talk about it. Well, actually, I'll be here Sunday, too, with Travis Piercefield with the Pro Late Models, and I'll be back here Monday night for Monday Night Madness. So if you're bored, need something to do Sunday night, make sure you tune in here on the Coast to Coast Racing Network. We'll be here. Have a good evening.